Mm, Without further ado, how about we then bring our mind back to ourselves and start meditating for a few minutes as we wait for our friends to join. To remind everyone here, meditation is simply the act of bringing the mind back to yourself. It is the one of the most essential and the very first step towards a correct and wonderful meditation practice that will naturally grow over time. We start off by reminding ourselves to be aware of either our body, our breath, mantra, or whatever object that you find yourself familiar to. So, our session here, our goal is to just simply remain aware of our intended object while making sure that there's no other interferences that will take away your attention. You can easily accomplish that just by ordering yourself or reminding yourself to keep your attention with your object. As we all here practice before, we understand full well that our attention will not last for more than a minute or two in the beginning without other interferences or thought pulling and snatching our attention away. Just like in our everyday real life, once we notice that our attention has moved away from our main task, we just simply bring our attention back to the object. But for you to do that, you have to make that conscious decision, or as I like to call it, ordering, telling the mind, directing the mind back to the intended object. And you'll find that in the early minutes and hours of your meditation practice will be consumed by the repeated command or ordering to bring the mind back to the object. As long as we are not able to stabilize, as long as our mind are not able to stabilize on one object, to continue to concentrate will prove difficult and impossible. So therefore, let's create that habit. Let's create that tendency to just simply bring the mind back to the object. The way we will go about practicing that simple task is by being nice and kind, akin to how we provide ways and guidance to children, knowing that some tasks are not easily accomplished, knowing that the tasks and the way we do things are not perfect. With that understanding, we are able to guide the children with soft, gentle, kind, and appropriate words, allowing the mind, the children in this case, to have the time and space to practice the fundamentals of bringing attention back to the object. And because of this time and space and proper guidance, void and free from any pressure, that the children are able to then grow and develop this skill wonderfully. So the way we approach the outside world, approach those children, should be the same way we approach our own mindfulness practices too. Now that we have given our mind some time to clean itself, we can then, we are ready to then begin this session. You can gently open up your eyes. Okay. Mm. So normally the session will be more like it's either that have a class prepared, or we can just go by whatever people want to ask, like about the the, the teachings or meditation, or um, any topic that relates to them personally, and that we can then have something to discuss about, and then relates back to um, what is it that what are the things that they could then learn from the class and able to then use it in their own life. So, oh, and William, you have to unmute yourself. Yes, if you want to talk. Yes, Carmen.
No, I'm just, would have something to share. But because it's William's first time, if you have anything to ask or anything, then I feel like you should ask away first.
No, you go ahead. That's fine.
Um, Today in the morning, I had a chat with my dad, and he's doing a compassion meditation challenge at the moment, 30 days of meditation that are all guided. And the topic was forgiveness. So we talked about forgiveness today. And he realized yesterday already that it was about forgiveness to other people. Today it was forgiveness to himself, and he realized that it seemed not just only hard, but actually like there were a lot of things that came up that were overwhelming. So it was not necessarily a positive experience. So I tried to explain to him, like first of all, what forgiveness does. Like when do we use it? What is the tool for? And I remember that Prajan taught me that it's like something that if you use it, it automatically always changes the system. So, for example, you have a fight with someone, and yeah, there's a whole cycle going on of like words exchange, gestures exchange, and actions, um, all in going in the direction of like being angry at each other and resentful and all of that. And you can only break that. You can only break that system that you're in that is ultimately like degrading both people that are in it, when you forgive. Either like actually like talking to the other person, but even when you forgive just sitting alone by yourself, the system also changes. Um, and it's like a, um, yeah. And but the second one was, I said to him too, was that um, when you do that, of course, it's like trying to do something like really, really far ahead, like really advanced, like just forgiving and everything is done and forgiven. Um, but you have to imagine that you have to start like step by step, and that the intention in the beginning is the one that counts, not the feeling that comes up. And he came up with this example. He loves to do these puzzles, like Tetris or something. And he's like, in the beginning, he would get really frustrated if he would try like the really, really hard one because it's really complicated and you don't know what to do. But then when you start with the easy ones and you do all the easy ones and then you advance the next level and the next, then you're not frustrated, but you're proud when you get to like the next level. So I first want to share this, but secondly, my dad's also in the call. So I was wondering, like if Ajahn Jimmy has something to share on that as well with forgiveness. I'm sure there's an even better way of explaining it and what that tool is used for.
Um, in ancient times, people are quite really meticulous of the word choice that they use, because they find that each word means different thing and hold different properties. For example, if I say that I bump into someone compared to that I crash into someone, it's the action might seem the same, but like you know colliding with someone, but then the bump and crash holds significant different meaning and its own significant. And when it yeah, and we can see this with other examples too, like soft and fluffy, stop and still. It seems similar, but actually it's whole entire unique thing. Now with compassion, what most people are talking about here is loving kindness. Meaning loving kindness means that you have a thought. Now, you have a positive thought of not only kindness toward other people, but also wishing them that may they find themselves far away from the thing that they're struggling with, have to endure it, and then find happiness too. But that is just in terms of thought and feeling. Whereas compassion is once arises, that is powerful enough to then force the individual to then go upon doing a certain action. You can go around seeing people in family and say, "Oh, I wish them that they find, may they be better, may they this, may they that." But that's just loving kindness. Compassion have the strength to then push you to the field and then do the helping itself. That's why in Thai we use the word metta for loving kindness, karuna for compassion. But when we talk about helping people, we say metta karuna. It clearly put thing into perspective and priority, because you can't be compassion if the initial thought, loving kindness, doesn't exist to begin with, right? If you don't wish someone the very best to begin with, there's no base for compassion to then step in and then push you forward. So the program that your dad's going through, I guess, is going through firstly cultivating that thought and emotion first to build up that base so that you can then move forward to do so. Now, loving kindness toward oneself, one is not able to do so. It's because it's like a thick wall that it cannot, like the thought and emotion cannot penetrate through. Like it's like you're like a brick basically. And people define their ability to do or not do something with their thought and emotion based on the reaction. Are they able to feel it or not? Are they able to feel it or not? Which is, I guess, a misled criteria, because it's not about the sensation that you feel, but more of the virtue and value that you uphold and keep on applying. Is this person worthy of being free from suffering or not? Is this person should this person then find happiness or not? Throughout, everyone have their own roles and responsibility that they have to uphold even though they're not feeling it. Being kind, there are someone who are so nice and like accustomed to being kind, being generous, but there are days and moments where they're just not feeling that good, exhaustion and this and that. But of course they can't help they can't help but feel not kind. They can't help but feel not kind. But then the action, the intention remain the same. For that, those kindness is deeply ingrained in virtue is deeply ingrained in them. So therefore, they still follow through with it. The same with loving kindness to ourselves too. It's a thick wall, takes time to penetrate through to get to pass the skin, I guess. But have we then create that action, not physical action, but mental action, yes, that signify uh, uh, treatment toward ourselves or not? That is the very first step. It reminds me of many patients who talk themselves through tough times, especially when they're recovering from some sort of illnesses, where they just say, like in their mind, it's okay, just eat it, just eat it. Of course, they're feeling disgusted about themselves. They're not feeling a lot well. But it's that repeated positive thought, a thought with good intent behind it, that push them through to then nurture their body by eating, even though they don't want to eat it. Now that intention should be the thing that we should cultivate in the beginning. Intention, repeatedly. Now, the thing that will hinder you is the feeling of the inner pollution from the bad nature that will say you are not deserving, a opposing feeling, a feeling that contradicts loving kindness, unworthiness, and this and that, and the feeling accompanied with reason, whatever that might be, whatever it justify the non-action. So therefore, now that we are knowing what we should do and knowing what is hindering us to do, it will feel weird. It will feel unfamiliar because it is going against everything that you have been accumulating for a decade. I can say this because I was in the same boat too, around a year ago. Impossible to be kind to myself. But then, just like everything that's new, it comes with the first kindness. So I kind of make a thing for myself where I wrote down what is one kind thing I did for myself, and like for one day. And if too tough, then how about have I then initiate the intention to be kind to myself? Not even have to follow through, but did I kind of with a stone and igniting the fire? Have I did this, even though the fire not lit yet, but I crashed the rock together to create a spark. That is the first step. And yeah, we can implement that throughout the day or once a day, depending on the strength of the individual. But that will slowly then treat a system in which that grows and develop naturally, as long as the patient keep on going practicing. Without that, then the emotion and thought that is polarizing, that is on the opposite, will remain strong and remain governing to you. So therefore, when the pattern doesn't change, the outcome will not be able to change. So to change that outcome, the outcome that you're having, you have to do the opposite. The opposite. And baby step for now. So yeah, people, everyone, they have their own hobbies already, the thing that they like to do. So therefore, instead of having it mundane in their life, like going through the motion, why don't we make it special? Like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna do puzzle today. You know what, it's my treat. After a workout, it's my treat. After this is my end. Always that treat and kindness to yourself in any and every opening that we can find. Make it special, just like a old couple who's been through everything already, all kind of dates and everything, right? Even a regular dinner, if you just lit a candle and put some flowers on the table, it's special already, even though it's mundane. But making a small modification to it already have a strong impact on the relationship. So that's the first part. The second part, the second part is about
Forgiveness.
forgiveness. Mm. 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 อภัยโทษ in Thai language, when we say sorry, we commonly say ขอโทษ. ขอ means to ask for. May I receive. โทษ means punishment. So when you say sorry, you actually say, can I have punishment? Which my teacher say is something that people say all the time, but you shouldn't say that, because in the past, the word sorry is longer than that. It's a ขออภัยโทษ. That's the word for sorry. But people over time try to ขอโทษ. ขออภัยะ means forgiveness or lifting off the punishment. So may I ask that you lift the punishment or forgive the punishment. And that's the original word for sorry in Thailand. ขออภัยโทษ. Now, but people are shortened to ขอโทษ. Please forgive. Please punishment. Please punishment. And so, please forgiveness. Pardon of the punishment. And you see that the weight, the fear that criminal feel, or the suffering that people have in their mind is that the weight of the punishment is not lifted yet. Forgiveness if to erase, to uplift, uplift, or to be free from the shackle of what they are accused of. And you see that in our judicial system, as long as the accused are not forgiven or pardoned, then even though not prosecuted, they will not rest easy, right? Even something as mundane as thinking that they have wronged someone because they spoke something not nice or this or that arbitrarily, it weighs heavily in their mind, so much so that they have to then utter a word of apology for someone, which then most likely they get a reply back that, hey, I didn't even notice that I never put any weight or any accuse to you. And when the one saying sorry heard that, they feel light and happy and free. Now the thing is, now with loving kindness too, had to ask ourselves now what kind of thought and emotion is coming up to then justify the shackle or the weight on your shoulders, on yourself, and how would one have a second chance in life if those shackles are not removed, are not pardoned. What have passed, everything that comes up, trying to justify, unable to forgive yourself, are just past information that have significant, have weight for two reasons. First one is that those information are combined, come in package with some sort of strong, are often packaged with a negative emotion that then have significant, not because the emotion is strong, but also that it is accepted by the person. We prioritize our life or the thing in our life depending on what we accept and how much we accept them, how much we see as them. It's all arbitrary and can be easily manipulated, because we find out because it shifts all the time. For students, studying might not be on top of their list, uh, might be partying or other thing. But when it times to come, when it's times to study for the exam and like a week away from the exam, for some reason, partying, gaming, and everything that holds significant for them now no longer hold any significant, but the studying itself occupy the most of their time. So now you see, it really depends on, and therefore with that, it governs their thought pattern, speech pattern, behavioral pattern, depending on what they give it weight and importance to. So therefore one cannot, or it's difficult for one to change if the weight is still given to the thing that is pulling them back, and the thing that is pulling them back will then, like a cycle, then in turn govern them of how they behave. So the way to fix is what Thai people have been taught for like decades already, is to every morning ask for a precept. A precept in English means a set of rule or framework that one want to abide to, or hold like true to it. And we do that every time. Every time we do that, we tell ourselves that by seeking or finding refuge in the precept or these framework, I am now a new person. Now, sure, I might be person who lies a lot, or like to kill bugs, or go around being a playboy or whatever it is. But today, I want to uphold these precepts, or uphold these virtues, allowing myself to be a new person. I want to change. And therefore, these are the principles I want to uphold. So therefore, consider me a new person, and I consider myself a new person. And usually by that alone, they are able to then, what past have passed, and focus on the new moment and the new set of person, that rules and person they want to be, and uphold that, uphold that normality, uphold that new pattern. And they find that throughout the day, the old self, the old pattern will come and then take back the old territory that they used to be able to occupy, but then being mindful and enduring that old pattern allows you to stay true to who you want to be. And over time, the scale shift, where the old habit then slowly loses strength and also frequency, and the new 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 commitment to the new life slowly gain momentum. So like planting a seed, for example. Apple tree takes around, I think, 5 years to ripen. Don't quote me, but you see the beginning weeks and months have to be really, really like a nursery home. Have to take time to nurture it up. So yeah, so those are the two things that here in Thailand people are taught to do when they are young, but now not common anymore. But in the past, like 50 years ago, it's very, very common. Did I answer your question? We forgive. We forgive. Mm, just to remove the shackle. That's it. Mm, mm, deserving or not? Mm, ask yourself this. Really, truly ask yourself this. When someone come up to you and tell you that to your face, that they want to be a better person, and you see the fire in them. Now it's not a weightless, insignificant sound that comes off their mouth, but it holds intention, holds fire. Even if that fire is not much, but to have that intention true intention to begin with and able to utter those words out, isn't that enough for you to then allow the person and support the person, give them time, space, and all the tools that he or she required to be a better person or not? And you see, just by that intention alone, attention alone is worthy of forgiveness, of help, of aid, of support. Because it's not easy for someone to have that true good intention, and even more difficult to even utter to other people too. So therefore, once they are able to do the near impossible, then of course, the outside people who's as someone who heard that beautiful intention, we should help in every way we can. Now that's the example from other people, but also we should then be not have justice to only to ourselves too, same treatment, because we are also someone that have to be looked after too. So if you were to say that you're gonna provide care and help to everyone, but you exclude yourself, that statement that you said is now incorrect, because it is now, it's not unifying, it's not everyone. So therefore, having that intention alone is worthy for help, for forgiveness, for everything. So yes, did I answer your question? Two of your questions.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. Alrighty. Any more question? William, you want to hop in or?
Sure. Yeah, okay. So I think in this moment in my life, I am dealing with a lot of attachment to many different things. One thing I am attached to is Korea. I've lived here 15 years. I'm leaving. I'm attached to money. All my savings are here, and Korean won is very weak. And it's a kind of a comedy that this is when I'm sending all my money home. I'm attached to things like what my life will become, or so I'm trying to just sort of be in this moment. And I know this is sort of a basic concept, but I just find myself constantly being pulled to be attached to this idea, to this concern, to this worry, to this whatever it is. And I wonder, when you deal with that, because I'm sure we all do, like, what is your way of, I don't know, looking at that, if you understand my meaning?
Yes. Yes. Uh, mm, mm, งดงามนะ in there are beauty in every aspect of life, right? The people, the culture. You've been there for 15 years. If you are not forced to be there by your occupation, but you're there by your personal, then it means that you really, really, truly love and then are pulled in by the beauty of the country, or whatever aspect that you find admiring in that place. And that's a wonderful thing, and even more wonderful if we can then take what is beautiful from the people, from the culture, and then take that beauty and apply to ourselves and lift ourselves up. And then for us to then hold the same quality, the same, what's the word here? Yeah, the same quality, or the same features, I guess, same virtues. I see it as like like a project management for myself. You know, when you see when you're running a business, you see some other someone doing something great, you're like, oh, that's amazing. I want to then incorporate it into then my own business. Then my value increases. Not only that, but the value is now the benefit of the value is now then shared among the employer, employee, stakeholders. So now that we're in a beautiful country that you enjoy and love so much, now these are the values that we can then take and then as a project manager for your own life, build yourself up to it. Mm. When when we when we now shift our attention to focusing on self development or self project, every place, every people, everything, every being or every name it, uh, become something that can become something or we call a tool to bring lift you up, increasing your value, your benefit, increasing your standing, be it financially, emotionally, whatever the criteria is. And there are also tools that will also degrade you too. Um, what help kind of like not only myself and becoming a monk, but also other people to then kind of like fly far away from the place that they love is a higher goal, because they have a goal. That's why they see that it is worthy to be far away from a place that they love to then gain the benefit that they could only gain in that specific spot on that specific place. Like my teacher like to say, I wouldn't be here if it's not for the job, right? If it's for a job, then I'll be here. But as long as the job is done, I'm gonna go back to the monastery, for example. Mm, uh, we Now that the goal is set to bring upon value and benefit to oneself, then we have to then with that, then everything then lies down to rhyme and reason and common sense. If you're truly true to that goal, then everything will common sense and common rhyme and reason. The thing that will hinder you will be attachment. Now, attachment is a strong liking or disliking toward an information, where the liking disliking become like a glue that then force you to then kind of like a spiral out of control in whatever topic that resonate with you at that particular moment. Now, sometimes it might be economy, sometimes it might be other topic, but it's just the same pattern where there's a kind of like a world. In Buddhism we say like a world that like you're lost in the thought, a world of thought that you're pulled into and absorb in based on your liking disliking. This is significant because it hinder you from doing the action required to then bring about that change. What people kind of not foresee is not or not give importance to is the fact that changes come when there's action, where those who are able to then master that confident are focused on the action itself, knowing that the result that they want are just merely byproduct of the action they create. But what is the thing that stop you from starting to begin with is that imaginary world that they find themselves indulging in, preventing them from taking the time, the money, the effort to then put into action and create the result. Korea, we can the attachment to things will naturally be detached if there's something more pressing and more important. I would like to bring it back to example of a student who love to party and play games. It becomes something that they're so attached to. But then when push come to shove, because he haven't studied for the exam yet, uh, for some reason he is able to then naturally gravitate his attention away from the thing that he likes the most and put it on study and practicing. Is it perfect? Of course not. Depending on how much the kid is prone to those party and gaming, but you see that they're able to shift their attention and the thing that they involve with by the meaning of goal. Mm. Every place have their beauty. Every place have their um, thing that we can take and learn and grow from. So if we are not sure what will come down the line in the future, like a family, like building a family or building a business, we want to work every day to make sure that this family unit, this business is ready for what's to come. We never know when the recession will come. We never know when the economic boom will come, but we always have to make sure that our family, or our business are in a position in which it can then withstand against recession and able to take um, reap the benefit and take the advantages of economic boom too. So that's why in Buddhism we focus on the self-improvement, self-development, and then using the tools around us to build ourselves up. Mm. So William, by focusing on that, the attachment to other thing will slowly decrease as the time and effort you allocate to those things will reduce. It really depends on the resources you put in each activity. Mm. I assume that when these thoughts are not addressed, it really does consume a lot of your time and lots of your energy. Now, which then result in just a degraded mental state and also exhaustive mind and body too. And therefore, and also there's no outcome, there's no changes, no change in pattern or change in result. That's why in Buddhism we recognize that, point it out, and say, how about we take the importance of that away, because there's nothing important about it, but the important thing is the action that we take. So then we should put people to just do it. And that's why monks or good friend, like the Buddha said, can be a wonderful coach. A coach doesn't daydream with you, but rather a coach then kind of like always, or a personal trainer always then tell you, hey, do this, do this, do this. Keep just point to action, action, action. And the coach can guide you well and beautifully if the coach know what the end goal is. You want a six pack, you want this, you want that, and therefore point to action. So I hope that did that help.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
Now for money too, if we have significant fun, we living there for 15 years, I think that you have a very good be knowledgeable in the expenses that will need to be required in time of recession and how economic boom too. So I think you can plan that to a T. And the extra fun, of course, I am not giving any financial advices, but would be now extra fund is not available for external investment or saving in a much more unvolatile currency or something like that. So therefore then some of your worries can now be shredded apart and then like moving away from those. um, One thing that help migrants around the world is that every country have a community of that ethnicity or that nationality, like Chinatown, Thai town, Korean town, where the culture, the languages all exist in different part and corners of different country, even the people too. So even if you're gonna have to move to a different spot because you have a higher goal, something that you want to build for yourself or other people, if sometimes you miss that, there's of course a community segment in the country that can help with that. So yeah, so we are therefore we're lucky that we are not truly far away from the thing that we love, and there's always that thing everywhere. So alrighty, anyone have any other questions? Oh, lastly, no, it's nothing shameful about having attachment. You'll quickly be free from it if you reflect on the consequences of attachment. It is rarely about the thing that you attach about. It is rarely the attachment itself, but the outcome. How's your mental health? How's your physical health? You see the degradation, and that will be a thing that will help many people to say, you know what, there's no point of this or that about it.